The purpose of the new Institute for Interreligious Relations is to foster good relations between the Catholic Church and the other major religions of the world, and to enable Catholics who are working in this area to feel confident in promoting those good relations in their work in whatever context.
The new Institute for Interreligious Relations at the Angelicum was established for several reasons. The first is because we need our students to understand in the future the actual, you might say, internal logic of other religious ways of thinking, understanding Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, as the adherents of those religions understand themselves and practice their faiths. Secondly, so that we can evaluate theologically as Catholics what we believe to be true in the light of Christ and Catholic philosophy as well as theology when we look at those other religious traditions. Thirdly, for mutual coexistence, you might say an ethical framework for engagement in a society of mutual tolerance and respect of religious freedom, especially when Catholics are a minority, but also when they're a majority in countries where other religious traditions are present. And lastly, but not leastly, for the evangelization, the propagation of the faith, the proposal of Christ and of the Catholic faith in an intelligent and elegant way to people who are of other religious traditional backgrounds so that they can really understand the gospel, that we can propose that to them in ways that they're more likely to understand because we understand them.
The purpose for the new Institute for Interreligious Relations at the Angelicum is twofold. First, it's to help students from many parts of the world reflect and critically think about the religious traditions that they're surrounded by. Second, it's to provide a continuous theological tradition here at the Angelicum, which will allow for a Thomistic view on the great religions and questions like mission and inculturation. So we're hoping really to serve the universal church through this particular institute. In the Catholic world right now, there's no sustained Thomist attempt to engage with the questions of religious pluralism. There are authors here and there, but what we want to do is, if you like, bring researchers together who have a common orientation. We also have a publication with the Catholic University Press of America to disseminate, if you like, this new Thomist paradigm. And we have conferences and talks. And in a way, over the years, we want to develop a research outlook which will allow Thomism to fill what is currently a lacuna in thinking how Catholics approach this question. So that will be true for the Angelicum, but also offer a wider service to the universal church.
The Institute for Interreligious Relations can make a major contribution to the formation of future religious and clergy, as well as lay people who live in countries where there are significant percentages of non-Christian religionists. So Muslim countries are countries with a large number of Muslims, the subcontinent of India, countries with large Buddhist representation, so that we can understand those traditions, think about their the theological meaning of how we evaluate them and engage with them, both according to principles of religious freedom, respect of the conscience of each person, but also the intelligent proposal of the faith and the explanation of Christianity to our non-Christian neighbors. One of the challenges is that students who come from countries with a large representation of other religious traditions often lack the resources within the Catholic Church to understand and evaluate those traditions, to understand, you might say, Islam somewhat from the inside or Hinduism from the inside. And you really kind of need that to understand the mentality of the adherents of those religious traditions, to speak with them, to speak about Christianity. So there's a service there. Another challenge that we're facing currently is the question of how to think theologically in the deepest way about human beings being religious in non-Christian ways. And there's sort of two extremes. One is to sort of write off all other religious behavior as antithetical to the gospel. Another is to sort of say that everything is blessed by God as an anticipation of the gospel, so there's no need for a kind of critical research or inquiry about other religious traditions. And what we want to do is both understand other religions sympathetically and have a critical eye, a discerning eye, and give tools of understanding, philosophical and theological, spiritual and practical, to help people who are Catholic engage in a nuanced and just way with other religious traditions.
I see there being a great need for the Institute in today's world in terms of the need of the Church and in terms of the need of all those who are working within the Church to promote good relations between the Church and other religious traditions. I see there being a gap, in fact, in terms of a contemporary theology of religions that will serve the Church's needs. In the past, there was a generation of Catholic scholars who promoted theology of religions, but that generation has both passed itself, but also certain aspects of the work of those theologians led theology of religions in a direction which has caused a certain amount of uncertainty on the part of Catholics. So I see the need to develop a new, confident theology of religions that will serve the Church's needs today. A second aspect is that the world's religions are very much present in the world today. They impact on every country in which they're present. They impact on the lives of all Catholics throughout the world. Often the relations between the different religions is marked by rhetoric or violence. And I see there is a real need to have reasoned discussion between people who have confidence in reason in order to promote peace and good relations.